Did you know that nearly 80% of parents believe that praising their children is the key to boosting their self-esteem? While it sounds good, this belief could be hurting kids more than helping them. Shocking studies reveal that children who receive excessive praise are 30% more likely to avoid challenges and 20% more likely to feel anxious about failure. Overpraising might feel like the right thing to do, but it can create a praise addiction. Kids may start to believe their worth depends on constant validation. They might become risk-averse, fearing that any mistake could shatter the image of being the best. In this video, we will explore how overpraising can harm your child's development. We'll discuss the science behind it and share practical strategies to encourage real self-worth. Get ready to discover how shifting your focus from praise to effort can help raise confident and resilient kids. You won't want to miss these insights that could change the way you parent. Chapter 1. The Praise Paradox. When good intentions backfire, overpraising can lead to a fascinating paradox. The more we try to boost kids' self-esteem, the more dependent they become on constant praise to feel valued. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck discovered that children praised for intelligence, rather than effort, often develop a fixed mindset. They start believing that their abilities are unchangeable, which makes them afraid to fail. If they believe they're smart and then struggle with a problem, it shakes their confidence. Did you know that kids who are frequently told, "You're so smart," or "You're amazing at this," are more likely to give up on challenging tasks? A study published in Child Development found that children praised for innate traits like intelligence are 40% more likely to avoid tasks that might expose their weaknesses. They'd rather not try than risk failure. So what can parents do? Shift from praising results to praising the process. Instead of saying, "You're so talented at drawing," try something like, "I love how you used so many colors. You really put effort into this." This small shift helps kids focus on their effort and growth. Another tip is to ask open-ended questions that make them think about their process. Instead of, "Great job on the test," you could ask, "What strategies did you use to study?" This helps them reflect on their own actions and see how they contributed to their success. It's about helping them take pride in the journey, not just the result. If your child draws a picture, focus on the choices they made rather than just saying it looks good. Try something like, "I noticed you used a lot of green. What made you decide on that?" This lets them feel good about the thought and creativity they put into it. According to Mindset by Carol Dweck, kids praised for creativity and problem-solving rather than talent tend to have a greater sense of accomplishment. One more way to reinforce this mindset is to share stories about times when you faced a challenge and succeeded through hard work. By showing them that you value persistence, they'll see that it's okay to struggle sometimes. This builds a mindset where they're open to trying new things, even if they're tough. Chapter 2. Confidence or complacency. Finding the right balance. There's a thin line between building confidence and creating complacency. When we praise children for every little thing, they can start to expect praise even for minimal effort. Over time, this can lead to kids who are afraid to step out of their comfort zones because they're used to being rewarded for staying within them. Research published by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that children who receive constant praise become less likely to engage in new challenges. The study found that 25% of overpraised kids resisted trying tasks they'd never done before, compared to only 8% of kids who received more balanced feedback. One strategy is to avoid blanket praise for everything your child does. Instead, be selective. Save praise for times when they actually put in extra effort or take on a tough task. If your child is reading on their own, you could say, "Wow, you chose a big book today. I'm proud of you for challenging yourself." This type of praise encourages bravery rather than just compliance. Another effective technique is to introduce them to growth mindset language. For instance, instead of, "You're so good at math," try, "You really worked hard to understand those math problems." This helps kids see that effort, not just talent, brings results. Let them know that it's okay to fail sometimes. Emphasize that mistakes are part of learning. When they do struggle, say, "Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we grow. This will help them build a healthier relationship with challenges. Encouraging them to take on new experiences is another great way to promote confidence. Whether it's trying out for a sports team or starting a new hobby, support their exploration. Remember, your role is to guide them, not to shield them from every potential disappointment. Chapter 3. The stress of success. How kids react to high expectations. Overpraising can unintentionally create a lot of pressure. Kids who are told they're perfect or the best can feel an intense need to meet those high standards. This praise pressure makes them more likely to avoid anything where they might not excel. They may even fear that not doing well will let you down. In fact, a Psychology Today article highlights that kids who feel high expectations to always be the best often develop higher rates of anxiety. It's estimated that children who are consistently overpraised are 20% more likely to experience performance anxiety and fear of failure as they grow older. They fear that if they're not perfect, they'll lose your approval. One way to reduce this stress is by celebrating their effort, not just their outcome. For example, after a soccer game, instead of saying, "You're the best player," try something like, "I saw how hard you were running and helping your teammates. You gave it your all." This way, they'll know you appreciate the effort, win or lose. A unique approach is to incorporate phrases that encourage resilience, like, "I love that you kept going even when it was hard." By making resilience and persistence the focus of praise, you help your child build a strong foundation that isn't shaken by setbacks. Consider sharing stories of famous people who faced failure before succeeding. When children see that even the greatest achievers stumbled, it can ease their fear of failure. This shows them that everyone has to work through challenges. If you're finding this content valuable, please subscribe for more insights on parenting that can help you raise confident, resilient kids. Chapter 4. Praises versus process. Shifting the focus to effort over outcome. When it comes to praise, the magic lies in focusing on the process rather than just the outcome. This simple shift can make a big difference in a child's growth. Research shows that children praised for effort rather than ability are more likely to persist in the face of challenges. They start to believe they can improve through hard work. A study by Carol Dweck and her colleagues found that kids who received process-based praise were 30% more likely to choose a challenging task over an easy one. Instead of wanting to look smart, they wanted to learn. For instance, try saying, "I can tell you worked hard on this," rather than, "You're so smart." This shows them that effort is what counts, not just talent. Another tip is to ask open-ended questions that make them think about their process. Instead of, "Great job on the test," you could ask, "What strategies did you use to study?" This helps them reflect on their own actions and see how they contributed to their success. It's about helping them take pride in the journey, not just the result. If your child draws a picture, focus on the choices they made rather than just saying it looks good. Try something like, "I noticed you used a lot of green. What made you decide on that?" This lets them feel good about the thought and creativity they put into it. According to Mindset by Carol Dweck, kids praised for creativity and problem solving rather than talent tend to have a greater sense of accomplishment. One more way to reinforce this mindset is to share stories about times when you faced a challenge and succeeded through hard work. By showing them that you value persistence, they'll see that it's okay to struggle sometimes. This builds a mindset where they're open to trying new things, even if they're tough. Chapter 5. Building true self-worth. Praise alternatives that work over time. Children can become reliant on praise for their self-worth, but true confidence comes from within. Rather than always looking for praise, children need to learn to value themselves. One way to do this is by focusing on active listening. When your child shares something they've done, give them your full attention and ask questions without jumping to praise. Did you know that kids whose parents actively listen tend to have higher self-esteem? According to a child development study, children with engaged listeners were 15% more likely to feel self-confident without seeking constant praise. Just by asking, "What was your favorite part about this project?" you show them their work is valuable. Another powerful tool is to spend quality time together, without focusing on achievements. When you make space for everyday moments, children feel loved for who they are, not just what they accomplish. For instance, cook together, play a board game, or go for a walk. Quality time communicates that they're valuable just by being themselves. If you want to acknowledge something they've done, try expressing appreciation instead of praise. Say, "I really enjoy seeing how happy painting makes you," instead of, "You're such a great artist." This subtle difference helps them feel valued without attaching it to your approval. As Daniel Siegel explains in The Power of Showing Up, children who feel connected to their parents tend to have a more stable self-image. Finally, encourage self-praise by asking how they feel about their own work. Instead of saying, "I'm proud of you," try asking, "How do you feel about what you did?" This gives them a chance to recognize their own efforts and accomplishments, which builds inner confidence. Thank you for joining us on this journey to understand overpraising and its impact on child development. If you found these insights helpful, please subscribe for more tips on parenting and helping your child thrive.